Warehouse design in the real world. The title of today's discussion comes from the fact that we just finished a project where the outcome, though not revolutionary, really points to a lot of basic truths when you're designing a warehouse. And just a short background, this company is a food company. They produce consumer food for retail. It's high volume goods and relatively speaking few SKUs. Say we have 100, 200 SKUs that we're handling here. The challenge in this project was they just acquired a new brand, so they wanted to host double the production volumes. The facility should host that, and we would like to do this, and this is then the outcome as well, because we succeeded in having very low investments, and it turned out that we could handle double the production volumes with just marginally expanded workforce when it comes to material handling. And then, for most companies, there was an urge to have this be very flexible. So the first major lesson here was when we did all the analysis and we tried out a lot of different scenarios, is that what made a huge impact was to separate the flows, inbound from outbound. In the original layout, there was plenty of dock doors, but they were all at the same place. So in this instance, we made a design where we open up doors that were coming in directly to the production line. And the reason for doing that is that we wanted to minimize the crossing traffic. And when you have that high volumes, as we have in this case, when you have a production, you have all the packaging material, the driving distance quickly adds up to be very much. The second takeaway here was that when the volumes are high enough, it makes sense to automate. And in this case, this is true for the inbound material, packaging material, because we have very high repetitive flows. We put dock doors close to where you feed the production lines with packaging material. We put drop trailers and use them as storage. The ingredients were coming through pipelines, so we didn't have to handle that at all, pipelines and conveyors. And by having the drop trailers with the packaging material, we could then unload them directly from the trailers, one touch onto gravitating conveyor belts that were feeding the packaging machines. This took away a lot of handling, and it also helped a lot with disconnecting the feeding of the production line from the material handling. And then we had a robot that were emptying the totes into production line. The third takeaway here was that it made a lot of sense to install an abundance of dock doors. This way we could enable live loading of the drop trailers. Again, one touch, And we would also reduce the need for staging space, which is very space consuming in normal warehouse design, and very critical part of it too. And we then set up routines to direct the trailers to the doors that were nearest to where the majority of the products were stored. And this made a huge difference when it came to the staffing requirements. The fourth major takeaway here is regarding storage equipment. In this case, as always, I would say, the 80-20 rule is very applicable, which meant that we had a lot of products with less than 5 pallets in average storage volume. And for them, we set up pallet racking. But that would leave us then with very few SKUs. We started out with, say, 150, to say that we had 25, 30 SKUs that were produced in very high volumes. For those, it made a lot of sense to floor stack them. So we would floor stack them 2 high and 9 deep. No investment at all in racking for them. Very space efficient. They're so deep you could stack them 2 high that without the aisles that you would have with a racking solution, it's actually surprisingly space efficient, and it's a very flexible solution. It also means that you have a built-in ability to expand in increments by putting in 4 deep, 4 high drive-in racks. So the main takeaways here that are making it very efficient and low investment for high volume goods with few SKUs. Separate flows, inbound flows from outbound flows. Automate where the flows are big enough. An abundance of dock doors to enable live loading into drop trailers. And when you have high enough volumes, don't be shy from using the floor stacking.